Oh, great boots.
I'm all dressed.
Where did those come from?
They're
And
marvelous.
standing by
Those are
and
the best. Those lizard skin. Okay.
Okay? You're wonderful in National Lampoon's Vacation. You really are wonderful because I tell you something. You play a cool, competent, very attractive woman who's a mother and a lovely wife.
Thought of it that way.
Well, and it is. You're not just a sort of prop. Now, it seems easy when you watch it on the film, but the truth is that if most of us, if most women, under those circumstances, a cross-country car trip, if we saw ourselves on screen on the fourth day with our voices getting shrill and getting a little hysterical, we would realize how difficult it is, because it must be also difficult to portray that. Is that part of your real personality, or is that?
Well, I'll tell you something. It's actually, this role was a bit of a stretch because it's something that I don't know that much about. I'm not a suburban housewife, but there's like that everyman quality in it, you know, and I think that's where the actor's imagination has to come in, and I just imagined, you know, what it would be like.
Well,
Thought of my
Beverly,
mom.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Because I was curious whether, having seen you in your other roles, and of course, Coal Miner's Daughter, you were absolutely superb.
Oh, thank you.
A memorable performance. But this was, it seemed to be that you seem to have that control. You seem to be that disciplined, controlled person. Are you? And yet easy.
Yes. Oh, yes. Lots of discipline and lots of control. No. In general, no. Specifically, yes. I think I'm real disciplined as far as work goes. I can concentrate. I can, you know, do things when I'm supposed to do them and how I'm supposed to do them and hit the marks and, you know, say the things that I'm supposed to say. But in general, I think I'm kind of a free-form person.
Well, we tend to think of you as a Canadian. We like to think of you as a Canadian.
Well, I immigrated to Canada, so I qualify.
Oh, are you a Canadian now?
No, I'm not a Canadian citizen. I had landed immigrant status.
Oh, great. Did you start your career in Canada?
Yes. I started my career with Ronnie Hawkins. I sang with Ronnie Hawkins. And I was singing with him, and then I did a musical for CBC and got nominated for the ACTRA Awards. This was in 76. And then I joined the Charlottetown Festival Repertory Company and spent the summer in Charlottetown. And then Kronberg 1582 was taken to Broadway as Rockabye Hamlet, and I went with it. They brought Gower Champion in to direct it. It was the first Canadian musical that went to Broadway. And then when that closed, I met Woody Allen and started acting, started, you know, making films.
You started as a cartoonist, though, didn't you?
Originally, yeah.
You went out to Hollywood when you were, what, about 17, 16, 17, and got a job as a... Why did you quit? Why did you stop?
Well, part of it wasn't that good. And part of it was the timing, too, because I grew up in a, you know, I grew up in Columbus, Ohio, which is like really great and really normal and everything, but I always had this feeling that there was so much going on and I wanted to find out about it. So I got out to California, and suddenly all the kids my age were doing everything that I would just read about in Life magazine, you know, like Be-Ins and stuff like that. So I took off and just, who's laughing? Oh, that's Chevy. So I just took off and traveled across the States and Canada. That's when I ended up immigrating to Canada. And it was, you know, part of just exploring a lot of different things.
You're a multi-talented person. You've done a lot of things in a very short period of time, really, which I guess gets back to the kind of self-discipline. But you are a singer. You sang in the film a
I have
little
an
bit.
album. I'm making an album.
That's what I wanted to ask you.
I'm making an album for A&M. It'll come out in the late fall.
Oh, that's wonderful. We'll look forward to that. So you're
good.
Still pursuing your singing career.
Yeah.
Do you like singing better than acting, or just...
Well, it's so, there's a lot more immediate pleasure to it. I mean, I haven't really set up anything. I mean, the goal of making this album is so that I can have some kind of basis of performing artist again, you know. But I don't know how that's, you know, I mean, I really don't know. how
You
that's gonna
must
go.
know a lot about the music business.
I don't know anything about the music business.
Well, what I wanted to, you know, is it hard for singers,
What do I know?
musicians to get to the top and to stay there?
I don't know. I mean, I'm really just. This album has been kind of like done in a vacuum. In fact, it's music that I've written, and I just went in. I've been going into the studio for about since last February now to record it, and I've kind of put blinders on with the whole thing. I mean, I haven't second guessed exactly what it is that people want to hear. I haven't recorded songs with the intention of getting a hit, which is probably stupid, but that's how I've handled my movie career too. So that's just me.
Beverly, did you ever study? Did you ever want to be an opera singer?
I studied voice with two people, Ed Johnson in Canada, who had run the Met, and he lives in Hamilton now. I studied with him for a year.
He died, yes, yes.
And Nathan Lamb, I've studied with in California. He also sang, and now he's a cantor. And he teaches at a temple there, so it's something that I studied.
How did you ever get to Edward Johnson?
I found it through Ronnie Hawkins, because I had lost, I was singing that rock and roll and I lost my voice. And so Ronnie knew about Ed, and he sent me to him, and I went in for the first class, and he said, okay. And he showed me how he wanted me to sing, and he played these, and he played a scale, and he said, now sing in this natural voice as much as you can. I can only sing 4 notes. And by the time I stopped working with him a year later, I had a 3-octave range that was really in my power. But it's also something that you need to keep working on, which is why I've gone back to, studying here.
And you,
or not here, I mean in California. We're in the Grand Canyon. So.
And you're working at that all the time. This is part of your sort of
even
daily...
though I haven't been recording or anything, I've always gone back to singing. It's always something that, even when I didn't have a recording contract, I would go into the recording studio that belongs to another Canadian, a guy named Jim Ackley, has a recording studio in LA, and I'd go in there and put stuff down just to keep it going. It's just something that I really like in my life.
Was this a difficult film to make, in that you were always on the move? Did you at least shoot in sequence?
No, we didn't really shoot in sequence exactly, did we? The producer's standing right there. He's shaking his head no. It wasn't difficult to shoot. It was a lot of fun to shoot. It was that kind of atmosphere. It was a fun movie to make. So, I mean, we had to work hard to move everything here and move everything there, but it wasn't a drag, really.
Well, it's fun to see. You're I think a role model for a lot of girls, and they should go and see how to behave. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Claire.
And cut. Do you need any cutaways?
Nope.